What's good, beautiful people? Welcome back to the V3ST Reviews channel. I am your fabulous host, Mrs. Best. We are here to do our weekly recap of Love After Lockup's Life After Lockup. We are going to be recapping 2 episodes in one. This recap, because I did not see it for myself. I did not have the strength, the blood of Zeus or Christ. I had none of it. So we're going to go over Love Bombs, which was season 5, episode 46, as well as The Sex Whisperer, season 5, episode 47. Be sure, if you have not already, like the video, subscribe to the B3ST Reviews channel, and we gonna get into it. Things are falling, but that's okay. We're gonna start with Kerok and Britney. Kerok and Britney, you guys, were only in the episode titled Love Bombs, which was about a week, maybe a week and a half ago. Not much happened with them. I feel like, and a lot of people feel like, their storyline has too much storyline as part of it, which for those who are into reality TV understand that means that it's too scripted. We're getting more script, less reality. Doesn't make sense what's going on. Why would you move to Texas without having your PO approve it? Lots that makes no sense. But Britney stops the wedding. They're supposed to be eloping because she can't go to Texas. Kerok's off probation and can go where he chooses, but Britney is still on parole. She cannot go anywhere. And her crime, it was egregious to a certain extent. Basically, when she was 17, 18, she was a setup girl. She lured some boys to the block based on her looks, and then he was viciously, the person who she had under the impression she was going to date, he was viciously beaten and robbed. So she has a felony, but it's one that's extremely, I guess, worse than Kerok's from what people keep telling me. But she can't go to Texas. So she was like, what if we just get married? Then they can't stop us because we're married. But you're still 2 felons, so you don't have the same rights and privileges with marriage that the rest of us do all the time. And Britney's PO told her that it would basically look like she was trying to, play Texas, commit fraud, all of those good things. But we know that that's not really the case, y'all. We know that is not the case. But she stops the wedding. She tells them what the PO said at the last minute. And she essentially says she wants to do the wedding correctly and the right way with family there, which is interesting because she's the one with family that she doesn't talk to. She doesn't have a relationship with her mom at all. She barely communicates with her father. She does talk to her grandmother and some of her family, but for the most part, her family doesn't deal with her. They are devout Catholics. They do not believe in trans, LGBTQ, all that good stuff. So it's caused some issues with Britney. But she still wants to have her family there for her wedding, which is fair. Now, Kerok is upset because she basically stood him up at this wedding at the last damn minute. And now he wants to go to Texas because he has a job waiting and all of these things. Now, Britney says that Kerok should not go to Texas and does this weird thing where she follows him out and around and all this extra stuff. And she says she doesn't want him to go to Texas just because she's in a place where she's upset. She would rather him, if he does make that decision, make it in a clear mind, not when he's upset, which is fair. Now, he basically feels like Britney's having second thoughts about marrying him as a whole. But I don't know. She sits on a suitcase, won't give him his space. They kind of sort of not really make peace. I think that they both date like they're little kids being separated. Like one of them is moving across the country in senior year or something. I don't know. And we know in real time they're in Texas. So I could give a flying you-know-what about the situation. I'd rather see this girl working a job in Texas, doing what she needs to do. I feel like they could have benefited from a break from being on TV because they don't really have anything to give or show. That's just my opinion. Comment if you guys feel differently. We're going to move on to the next couple who was in both episodes, The Love Bombs, as well as The Sex Whisperer, and that is Bianca and her split ends and Spaghetti Coochie and Daniel. So Daniel got a job working for a moving company, and Bianca is complaining because she has to drive him to work, even though she doesn't work and has absolutely nothing to do because she's got no friends, no job, no nothing out there. So she doesn't feel like driving Daniel to work. And She FaceTimes her best friend while he's working and basically invites her friend in Florida to come out. And this is the friend we saw on Love during Lockup, who was kind of keeping it real with her about her expectations and what will come with dating an inmate. Now, Bianca has the audacity to say she feels like a sugar mama, which annoys me because you knew that you had this settlement. You knew what you were looking for. You knew what you got into choosing to be with somebody who's locked up. Now, suddenly you're complaining about doing the things that you knew you would have to do. Like, Bianca really doesn't make any sense to me ever. If anybody else can find a way or reason that she makes sense, I'm open to hear it. And please do not come at me with the, oh, she had a rough childhood. I do too, and I don't act like that. So I don't know what the hell is wrong with her, but something's wrong with her. So Daniel's expecting a ride home. He's calling Bianca over and over, and she's not picking up. And she's annoyed that he's calling her, knowing, because before he left, he was like, I'll call you. And if you're able to pick me up, fine. If not, I'll Uber. All she had to do was say, I'm out the way, or I don't feel like it, or I can't right now. Instead, he calls, and she just ignores every call that this man has to give, which makes absolutely no sense. So he ends up Ubering home, and he comes home extra sweaty. You know, they living in the desert, running around Arizona like fools. Sorry, James. I don't understand why people live there. It's too damn hot. And he's complaining about how expensive Uber is, and she does not care that he needs help. She is still expecting for him to somehow pay for Ubers, a job, and rent, and her with a part-time job at a moving company. It's not going to work that way. She's being unrealistic. So she then tells him, after he's complaining about, expenses, that she bought a $137 elf figurine set. Why? Why, Bianca? Why did you need to buy an elf figurine set? I can't figure that out. That's the dumbest purchase ever. And why are elves so damn expensive? They're not even real. I'm sorry. I know it's the holidays, but they're not real. Now, Daniel worries when her settlement money runs out that she's going to expect him to pay for their lifestyle and everything. And I actually agreed with him. I feel like once her settlement money runs out, and I think that it will run out relatively fast the way that she's spending, she's going to expect this man to be there for her. And he's going to remember all the times where he needed simple stuff like a ride, where he could have given you $15 for gas and saved the extra $15 he would have spent on Uber. You could have been teaching him to drive and letting him use the car. But instead, you want to give him crap. So she's a hot mess. Now, in the newer episode, The Sex Whisperer, which is the reason the episode was named this, because of these two, she tells Daniel at the last minute that her friend is coming to visit, and she's once again bringing up sex, saying that sex could be better. And this is where she goes, we're going to see a sex whisperer. He's like, when? She's like, in the next hour. Like, why wouldn't you discuss going to any form of therapy with him before you just go? She's just throwing stuff in this man's face, and it's like, here you go, deal with it. And it's like, that's not how it should go. So they have an awkward discussion in the little confessionals they film, commenting on the scene about sex. And from what I got, it seems like Daniel's just inexperienced. Like 5 years out of 32 years on Earth, you've been having sex for longer than that. So maybe Daniel was bad in bed before he went to jail. That's what I'm getting. Maybe he doesn't understand the coochie, because he keeps saying that it's like spaghetti down there when referring to her vagina. Talk about it's a maze. How is it a maze? How does one's coochie get compared to pasta? I'm trying to understand and figure out what he meant by it's like spaghetti down there, because I can't figure it out. The only thing I'm thinking is maybe she's got like hair down there. But even with hair, it's not hard to figure out how to enter and exit. And if she does have hair down there to that extent to where he can't see where he's going and navigate the kitty cat express, then she needs to do something about that. I know some people like to keep hair. I know landing strips were a thing, all of that. Me personally, I prefer to keep everything off and gone and away. But if your man is telling you he can't navigate because it's like spaghetti down there, and then looking at how she does not care for her hair with them horrendous split ends, maybe he's uncomfortable, but it's giving he's just sexually inexperienced, because he probably spent much of his adult life high. He did have a drug problem or an alcohol issue. He's done drugs as well. So he probably don't know what to do intimately when sober, which is common for a lot of people who struggle with substance abuse. Anywho, they go to the event and you can see that there's a clear lack of physical affection. They don't really hold hands and, come together like that. And the lady has them do, the sex whisperer has them do a tantric exercise where she sits on him and essentially they're supposed to tell each other things about each other and then just respond with thank you. So things are okay until marriage comes up and he's like, listen, we're girlfriend and boyfriend. And she's like, wait a second, Daniel, you proposed to me. I just want to make it very clear. If somebody who is in jail proposes to you, that is not a proposal. They need to put a ring on your finger and or have the freedom and bandwidth to go and marry you when you want. You shouldn't have to file paperwork and wait for permission and see if it's authorized. That's just my opinion. But she ends up getting mad. They go out with his friend Gator, who I guess he met in jail. And Gator has a fiance who he's been with for some time. And it turns out that Bianca is going to tell her business to everybody. We already saw her tell the cousin. About how Daniel doesn't do foreplay at all. He just sticks it in. Now she's telling Daniel's best friend's fiance about how things have not been going well sexually and all the things they're going through. Now, you could tell this Gator dude does not like Bianca. He comments on the age difference. Daniel's 31, Bianca's 23. I'm 32. I would never date, if I were single, someone under the age of 28. No. Your mind is still in child form, even if you feel like you're an adult. You don't have to be mature and a real adult to pay bills. So, yeah, that's just what I get from it, and I agreed with Gator. But Bianca storms out when marriage comes up, and Gator made a comment. He's like, do y'all really think you're ready? You got to get to know each other. He got to get his stuff together. And she runs out of there, and Gator sends his fiance, Celeste, after, Bianca. And I was hollering. He told Daniel, yeah, you better run, dude. Like he said, I'm not even going to get into it and ask what's wrong. If this is how she acts when you're on a double date in front of other people, no. You can hold your anger till we away from the public. You don't need to embarrass yourself and this man and these people in this restaurant because you're mad he doesn't want to marry you. You're literally proving to him that he's right to not marry you, Bianca. She needs a psychiatrist, a therapist, rehab, and the shit knocked into her head so that she understands how to act. Because Bianca's too much for me. We're going to move on to the next couple, Dumb and Dumber, Justine and Michael. Don't get me wrong. They're nice people. I'm happy to see their relationship work. I think they're terrible parents. I'm so sorry. I just do. It doesn't give that their children are turning out right because they put in the work and the effort. It's giving their children watch their parents struggle and somehow came out smarter. Because I just cannot with this pregnancy. And while people view children as blessings, to put your life at risk and the life of your unborn child at risk just because your dumbass wants to, we've got another baby now. When the doctor tells you after your first C-section that it's not safe to have more and you just continue to have them, it doesn't make any sense. So Michael's offended that Justine wants to leave her children if something happens to her daughter, which is selfish and irresponsible. Her daughter is 19 years old. Why are you trying to put the responsibility of autistic children onto your daughter? That is wrong. Why would you marry a man that you don't trust to take care of your kids? Justine doesn't make any sense. And based on what we saw with her in the Sex Whisperer episode when discussing her mom, I think that she throws a fit at anybody who tells her the truth or reminds her that she's made a mistake. And then once that person does that, she holds a grudge and does everything she can to prove them wrong. Justine thinks like a child, and you could tell that she's never grown up. That's just my opinion. But we then learned that Mike's mom, who is how he met Justine, because Justine and Mike's mom worked together at a previous employer, and Mike's mom is the one who introduced them. Her house has burned down. And so she's going to have to move in with them from Rhode Island all the way to Vegas. Now, Mike's mom does not know Justine is pregnant, which I can understand because Mike's mom has been known to DNA test all of his kids to make sure that they actually belong to him, which is incredibly disrespectful and overstepping. Maybe he could have made it work with some of the mothers of his previous kids if he didn't have the mama jumping in like that. That is so offensive, and shame on Mike's mom for doing that. But she tried to do it with Justine. It was a whole thing, point of contention last season. Now things have changed, but Justine doesn't want the mom to know that she's pregnant. She doesn't want anybody to know. And you sit up here talking about you're proud to be pregnant, you're proud of your husband and your family, but the fact that you felt the need to hide the pregnancy tells me that you know that you are wrong for being pregnant. That Justine is just slow. She's slow, y'all. Now, we see that Mike's daughter is telling Justine, Melody, the oldest daughter, she's like, you need to face my grandma and tell the truth. But at the same time, I just feel like the adults in the situation are not adults. Mike's mom has caused all these issues. Justine's mom is the only one with sense. As quiet as it's kept, Justine's mom is the only one with sense. Mike and Justine are hiding a pregnancy as if they're like hiding like something they stole from a store as teenagers. Like, you're hiding a whole fucking person. What are you doing? If this was such a problem, then maybe you shouldn't have got pregnant so soon, or maybe you should have told her immediately. And don't blame it on the, oh, I'm high risk, I don't want to stress myself. You weren't thinking about that when you got pregnant. It just looks like all of the things Justine should have thought about before getting pregnant again, she did not think about, and it's annoying. But shout out to Mike's daughter, as well as Justine's oldest daughter, Kylie. They both have more sense than their parents. It's just a fact. Now, Mike's mom finally comes in, and she now knows that Justine is pregnant. They show her because Justine is only like 2 months away from giving birth. And, you know, she's wondering, how come you guys didn't tell me? And it's like, because last time you questioned the paternity and stressed me out while pregnant and ruined my experience, which was wrong. So I don't think Mike's mom can be upset that they kept it a secret. And honestly, it looks like she understands that this is her doing. She was like, it's my fault. I made my own bed. I'm prepared to lay in it. It's going to take her a while to trust me again. And I can respect that. I mean, Mike's mom and Justine were friends at first before any of this came about. So I respect it. But Justine does explain, like, what you did with the paternity test made me not want to tell you. And Mike's mom apologizes and asks that there be no more secrets because she's a very involved grandparent. Now, this is where Mike's mom brings up Justine's mother because she's like, I don't want to keep secrets from your mom and cause an issue with me and hers relationship. And Justine basically says, and we've known this already, she and her mom have a rocky relationship and she doesn't want her mom to know because her mom's not going to be happy. Based on the condition of the house is a mess. Nobody's doing anything. Mike is working for a moving company with a cajillion kids. It is impossible for them to do what they're doing without help. So I do think it's good that someone's there. However, they don't know what they're doing. They just do not know what they're doing. And Justine will never prove to me that she's responsible when she moved her kids and her life to a state that they knew nobody in and had no family in, just so that they could wait on a man that she had never met in person to get out of jail. So even though Mike turned out to be a good guy, it could have went a different way, but I'll just never respect women who make those choices because it's just the Hot Mess Express. It's the Hot Mess Express, y'all. So we will see more of what happens with those two. But for now, I was happy that Mike's mom acted like she had some sense. You know, you cannot penalize and make the women sleeping with your son feel uncomfortable or like they're hoes by giving paternity tests. You need to check your son and leave the women and the babies out of it. That's my opinion. So now we're going to get to the true Dumb and Dumber, which is Kim and Joey. Kim is a hoe and a thought. I'm sorry, a 304. A thought, a bop, a Beezerella, whatever you want to call it. She a round-away girl. I do not like Kim. I do not like Joey. I think Joey is still getting high. I don't think he actually cares. I think he's just going where he wants for money. Now we see Kim meet with the lawyer with Joey because, you know, she learns that she shouldn't buy a home until she's officially divorced because she's not. And the topic of the paternity of her child that Joey and her DNA tested, comes up, and she realizes if the kid belongs to Joey, that her dumbass would have to pay the child support back that the other ex is paying. Kim, this is why people want to change the system. This is where those obnoxious, like, conservative thought processes come. This is why people feel like they can reverse Roe v. Wade for women, because you have bitches dumb like Kim. Why do you have this man paying child support for a baby that you're not even sure belongs to him? This is either giving storyline or you are the world's biggest and dumbest heifer. I cannot figure it out, Kim. I can't. And the judge tells her, and Joey was right, you know, your ex could have some type of a stake in anything you buy while you're still legally married, unless you file for divorce. Now, they are at the very least legally separated, so that's a good thing. But yes, Kim, you would have to pay back child support, because it's nobody's fault but your own that you don't know the paternity of your child. That's your fault. So in a new episode, we see them looking at houses, even though I could have swore the attorney said this is not the thing they should be doing. And Joey lets it out the bag that Kim makes $1,600 a month and she's paid bi-weekly. So this heifer's only making $800 every 2 weeks. That's not a livable wage. And the house that she wants to buy is $30K over budget. It's going to cost $1,500 a month to live in the house without utilities. Kim only makes $1,600 a month, and Joey has no job and a big spending habit. So I don't really think that this is going to work out in their favor. So Kim has Joey to ask her dad, who don't trust him because he think he stole an ATV or dirt bike from years ago, to borrow $7,000 so that they can get this house. And the dad says yes because he loves his daughter and his grandkids. But I was disgusted with Joey because it's like, bro, you do not have the right to be so picky with jobs. He pissed me off. Joey was talking about, I want to find a job where I don't got to be too tired getting and going to and from the place. What's wrong with you, Joey? I be tired every day at work, and I'm sure lots of other people do. I'm sure all of y'all be tired when you go to work at school. This fool is like, I want to find a job where I'm not tired going to it or coming home from it. What the hell does he expect to do? Go nowhere? He wants to wake up at 1:30 in the afternoon, go to work and be there by 2 o'clock, and he don't want to work too late, and he don't want to do shit while he's at work because he don't want to be tired coming home. But he want to be a daddy. These people are special, okay? And y'all could try and cancel me for that. I'm a 90s kid, so we're not as sensitive as people are now. Something is wrong with these people. You want to find a job, but you basically don't ever want to be tired. You are a felon. It's hard enough for people with perfect records and great degrees and resumes to find work, let alone somebody who has proven to society that they cannot be trusted. I just cannot with Joey. But it is what it is. He asked the dad to borrow the money. The dad says yes. Now, next thing we see is Kim taking Joey to get a bank account at a credit union. And Joey has been acting off. He's secretive. He's not a good guy at all. But personally, I feel like Kim and Joey deserve each other because she's not a good person at all either, really. I think her kids, she's one of those women where her kids slowed down her hotivities, if y'all get what I'm saying. And nothing's wrong with that. But she takes this man to get a bank account and they want to help him install the mobile app and all these things. He don't want to go get his phone out the car and keeps his phone away from Kim. This is where Kim is like, Joey's been secretive and all these things. And so while he's allegedly looking for his phone in the car, Kim is talking to the banker and she's like, can we get alerts? And that's when I was like, okay, hold on. Life after lockup. Y'all be BSing us with these scripts. Married or not, you can't secretly ask a banker when opening an account with your partner or whoever you're opening an account with. Can we keep these alerts from them and they just have this? Can we give him a limit on this and that? Is it his account or is he just being added to Kim's account? Make it make sense. But she's too controlling. Don't forget, she's got an air tag that she put in his car so she knows where he is at all times. She's controlling his phone. I personally think Joey could be acting funny because he probably found one of them air tags or knows that he's being followed but can't confirm it. But if you have to do all of that to be with somebody, you should not be with them. I'm not going to put an air tag in my husband's backpack in our car so that I know where he's at all time. If I have to do that, then that Negro can go wherever he needs to go, and I'm going to go where I need to go, and we're going to just not be together. Like, you shouldn't have to do that. That is not why Apple created the air tag, for insecure former thoughts to follow around their men who are fresh out of jail because she bought him a Nissan Pathfinder and he put rims on it. No, that is not how it goes whatsoever. But he throws a tantrum because after they leave the bank, they go to the rim shop where he got the rims put on the Pathfinder, which is wild. And he's looking at other stuff he wants to put in the car. And I'm like, he is so stupid. All the money you spending to put these like rims and speakers and stuff in the car, you could go get a brand new car that comes with all of that. But you want to put it on an old ass Pathfinder. I cannot. So he throws a tantrum. They get into it. And basically they go home. She picks him up off the side of the road and all this other crazy stuff. And his mom is there. And Kim and Joey's mom end up talking because he's like, I got to go to bed. I got to go to bed. It's the middle of the day. And he goes to bed, and it looked like he went to bed in the little boy's room, but that's fine. Anywho, Joey goes to sleep, and Kim's talking to his mom. And basically his mom is like, when he acts like this, he's doing something he's not supposed to do, and it usually has to do with drugs. Now, if Joey's on drugs, it is what it is. I don't like either of these people. I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't see it for Joey. I don't see it for Kim. I don't really care for them on this show. All I care about is the DNA test. And outside of that, I really don't care about their relationship and think they both deserve what they get. That's just my personal opinion. But I do agree with Kim. Something is off with Joey. And his mama seemed to think he might be on drugs as well. Kim's like, I have my baby. So if he's on drugs, he got to go. Bitch, bye. Don't try and make it seem like, oh, now you're worried about your babies and that's your bottom line. You moved a felon fresh out of prison into your house, but you're going to tell me that drugs is the deal breakers for your babies? Girl, bye. Bye. I can't. I just cannot with Kimberly. She's crazy. Moving on. We'll see more of what happens with them next week. The episode actually left off with those two. I don't care. Maybe it's giving clear people privilege because I don't care. I only want to know if the baby belonged to him. And if that baby does not belong to him, then I'm going to believe that they did all of this for a storyline and you could keep them off of my screen. I don't like these people. So we're going to talk about Teenie and Rob, who were only on the episode Love Bombs, which was not this week's episode that aired, but the week before last. This is where Teenie mentions Rob's tattoo because she went off on him. And she does apologize for going off. Teenie's petty. I figured it out when she fought his mom. Like, my mother-in-law has tripped out on me as well and tried to fight. I'm going to walk away from you. I'm not actually going to fight you, even if you get in my face. Like, you're just going to be following me forever, taunting me. So Teenie is being petty, and I don't think this girl wants to work either. But everything's get figured out. We do see Rob meet with his dad, who said that his mom is immature, which I do believe. And Rob explains some of his background and how the streets and being in the streets was more peaceful than being at home with his mama. And we see that Teenie got a job as a paralegal, and Rob wants to have a baby with Teenie. And she's like, well, I mean, he supported me, so I can do that for him. Girl, he supported you, paid the rent, buy him a car, wait, and then have a baby. But okay, not much happened with them, so I won't go in like that. But I was interested to learn a little bit more about Rob. I think Teenie's actually the one I'd be worried for in this relationship. She seems to be problematic. So we're going to get to Zaria and Troy. Like the video if you haven't already. We are almost done. We are going to get to Zaria and Troy. Zaria, you have no reason to have an attitude and behave the way you do. Somebody sent me some stuff. I don't care that you're bipolar. I don't care about any of the excuses you have for your bad behavior. Zaria is somebody who has changed her life for the better. We know that she did struggle with drugs before, which is part of why her skin is messed up. But from what I see, She's just a pothead pretending to be relevant who's not actually raising her child because that boy is never with her. That's all I'm going to say. I don't like the way Zaria behaves on the internet. I don't like the way she comes for the audience of the show on social media. I don't like the way she handles things. She makes it difficult for this man to just be a father, and that is separate from the relationship. But I do feel like she also manipulates Troy, and I feel like she was looking for a man in jail because she wants somebody to control. And we have to remember that she met Troy because Troy was her original baby daddy's cellmate and friend. And then she ended up getting with him. And now his cellmate and friend has adopted his actual child. So these people are messy. Messy, messy, messy. Zaria and Troy are excited because they're taking a trip to the cannabis dispensary. Marijuana is legal, I believe, in the state of New York. So I didn't understand why the hell they were so excited to go there. Also, Troy, you don't have a job. Zaria is trying to call you the director of a fake ass nonprofit that's not doing anything. Let me tell y'all, I actually work for a nonprofit organization in real life every single day. Funding is something that they do struggle with heavily. It is offensive to see Zaria giving this man a title as a director of something when he is not doing anything. You guys are at risk of funding. That is very rare unless you are a startup nonprofit. I don't trust half of what they're doing. And instead of saving your nonprofit or paying your rent, you're in the cannabis store. Don't call me bougie because as quiet as it's kept, I'm high right now and I smoke every day. So, and it's legal in my state, so I could do that. So I don't judge it, but I think it's important to have balance. Some people have a sip of liquor every day. Some people smoke weed every day, but you shouldn't be getting high before you go to work. You shouldn't be high while at work and all these crazy things. And that's what Zaria and Troy keep doing. It just gives extremely irresponsible and childish. So they're excited. They're buying weed, even though they rent and all those things ain't paid. And she thanks Troy, for being a good dad, but they seemed high as hell. And she mentions pregnancy and asks if he would want to have another child. And he says he wants to be okay financially first, which is fair. This is where Zaria says that, she's no longer on birth control because it was breaking her out real bad. Zaria, there's other stuff breaking your face out. And it don't matter if you on or off birth control, girl. That face is toe up. I'm sorry. But Troy doesn't know that she's not on birth control, and I don't know. He's going to be going on an outing with Zaria's son, Ashael. I hope I'm saying it correctly because kids are safe on my channel. I hope I am saying his name. I think it's Azael or Ashael. Either way, it's a beautiful name, but I might be saying it incorrectly, and I apologize because her son seems extremely intelligent and sweet and everything that I would want if I had my boy child. That's just what it is. But he's a big 11-year-old too. She should put him in the sports and stuff because he could probably thrive. But we see that Troy's going to be taking Azael, who he did legally adopt, to the Science Museum, which is a nice little activity. And then Troy's mom calls, talk about they got a problem. And we get to the Sex Whisper episode. And there's no problem. It's just that Troy's mom has Troy's daughter, Troy. And apparently Troy's daughter threw a fit to see Troy, which I do not believe. I believe the mom was with the daughter and took the daughter to see Troy against Yana's wishes, but that's my personal opinion. But the mom is going to get on a train and bring Troy's daughter, whose name is also Troy. And they end up going to the Science Museum, Azael and Troy's daughter. It was really sweet to see that both kids were happy to have a sibling. Troy's daughter was like, I've always wanted a big brother. And Azael was like, I've always wanted a sibling or a younger sister, someone to play stuff with, like someone to share with. So I think that's so sweet. I thought that was sweet. But Karen, why are you talking loudly in the museum? Talk about I got gas. Karen needs her own show. Karen is a hoot. She's funny. Now, Troy talks to his mom, Karen, about co-parenting, and it does seem like they mean well, but it seems like the real issue with co-parenting is the baby mama and Zaria, but more so Zaria. Zaria, you don't have a stake. I'm sorry. When your baby daddy free, if he wants to see his son adopted or not, he can get away to see him. And Yana has that right. You also go off and act the fool. So I can understand why Yana wouldn't want her child around a lady who's looking for men in the jail. I can understand that. But it seems like Yana and Zaria are the bigger problem, in my personal opinion. So we see a few days go by, and Troy and Zaria are planning for a community event. They had spoke about it before because this is a way to help them get more funding for their nonprofit so that they could pay their bills and rent and all of those good things. But Troy wants to have his daughter at this event and is talking to Yana, and he essentially says to Yana, will you come with my daughter? And Yana's like, I don't know. I got to think about it. And she may be coming to this event with Zaria and Troy. So we will see how it goes. But from what I see, I think Zaria is the problem. No shade. I expect the baby mama to act away and to be salty when he moves on and wants to commit to the woman who didn't give him the baby. I get that from the baby mamas. You give this man a baby and he won't marry you, and then the next one he does with no baby. I get that, but babies don't keep men. People need to start understanding that. But I really think Zaria is the problem. I just do. I feel like Zaria is the problem. Her temper, how she handles things, how quick she is to forget to be professional. I genuinely, with everything in me, believe that Zaria is the problem. I just do, y'all. And that's not going to change. That is not going to change. But I do like how everyone makes an effort to be there for the kids. And I hope that they continue to do that. For whatever reason, Zaria is uncomfortable having her child on TV or posting pictures. Zaria, if your child is living with your parents full time and you just see him sometime and contribute, that is okay. If that's the way that you can give your child the best version of you, who the hell are we to judge? Some parents have their kids with them all the time and could use the help. So, I just want Zaria to keep it real because I don't think her child lived with her. I just don't. But he's so sweet. He's so sweet. Final couple we're going to talk about, y'all, is Melissa and Louie. So Melissa and Louie are newly engaged. We only got them in the new episode, The Sex Whisperer. I can't stand Melissa. But they meet with their parents, Melissa's dad and Louie's mom, and they tell their parents they're engaged. And I said, what the hell, Donna? Louie's mom, Donna, took the ring off Melissa's hand. They didn't want to give it because Donna was like, she could have one of my old rings from one of my old husbands. Okay, Donna was a pimp and a player. And they're looking at the ring, and Donna gives this weird reaction, and then she takes Melissa off to the side, and it's like, everyone in my family loves you, and they don't know why I don't like you, and I know why I don't like you, because you remind me of me. And I agree. Melissa is kooky, quirky, not likable. She does too much, doesn't understand boundaries, and she's very one-sided and selfish. And that's exactly what Donna is. So I agree and said it when I was recapping Love during Lockup when we first met these queer people, that they were so similar. Now, the mom also seems to feel like Melissa's going to take Louie away from her, and that's not healthy. His mom needs to go to therapy. You make your kids so that they can leave and cleave and go live their own life. Kids do not born to live their life just for their parents. That's not the way it goes. But, we'll see what happens with these two. It does seem Donna is unhealthily obsessed with Louie, but I also feel like Melissa is a little bit of a problem too. But now that Melissa's engaged, from what we got from her just in this episode, she seems okay. She seems calm. Maybe marriage and knowing that someone actually wants to be with her will calm her down. But jealousy is never attractive, and especially on someone unattractive as Melissa. I'm sorry, I don't feel she's an attractive person. Like, jealousy is not cute on anybody. So I really hope that she figures it out. If you're going to be with a man who's a trainer and you're going to bitch at him about finding jobs and doing things, then, support his hustle. Find a compromise in a way that, you can show each other you trust each other and leave it there. That's how I feel, right? Anywho, beautiful people, that is it for this recap of Love After Lockup's Life After Lockup. I did recap 2 episodes in one because we didn't get each couple and everyone. And I was extremely busy last week, you guys. For those who do not know, I am going to be starting graduate school, getting my master's degree in counseling psychology shortly. So I was busy with registering for school, getting books, and I apologize for missing last week's recap. But we're going to get back in tune, on schedule, and all of those things going forward. I appreciate all of you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will be live tonight on the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. We will be going over Love and Marriage Huntsville and doing an updates video where we talk about pop culture and things like that. So be sure to tap in, tune in, and all those good things. Other than that, love and light to everybody, thug life, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.